Jesus is asked whether or not people ought to pay taxes. He responds in a pretty ambiguous way. He says, give to the emperor the things that are the emperor's, and give to God the things that are God's. Or render unto Caesar the things that are Caesar's, and render unto God the things that are God's. Whew. Sometimes wouldn't it be nice if Jesus was a little bit clearer? As I point out in this week's reflection, Jesus' followers would have been Judeans who would not have particularly liked paying taxes. And there are a couple of reasons for that. First, those taxes went to the Roman Empire, which in turn used those taxes to pay Roman troops for the oppression of Judea. So they were, in fact, paying for their own oppression. That wasn't popular. It's also true that tax collectors often skimmed some off the top for themselves, and sometimes more than just some off the top. So paying taxes to the Roman Empire was extremely unpopular, and Jesus' followers were likely hoping that he would say, don't pay your taxes. However, it's also true that encouraging people not to pay Roman taxes was an act of insurrection, and certainly would have ended up with Jesus being crucified. Of course, he was anyway, but it would have been an outright act of insurrection. So Jesus navigates this by asking people to pull out a coin, probably a denarius. And on that coin, he asks, whose face is there? And they say, well, it's Caesar's, the emperor's. And he says, well, give to the emperor's that which is the emperor's, give to God that which is God's. Render unto Caesar the things that are Caesar's, render unto God the things that are God's. He's asking people to choose. Where is your loyalty? Are you loyal to the emperor and to the Roman Empire? Or are you loyal to God and the reign of God, the basileia of God on this earth? It's up to you. And theologians point out that everything belongs to God anyway, theologically, and so we give to God what is God's. Now, there are some pretty common misunderstandings of the scripture. Sometimes folks will say, well, this is advocating the separation of church and state, but that simply can't be true because that is an Enlightenment idea and did not exist in Jesus' time, essential as it is. And don't get me wrong, I certainly believe in the separation of church and state. It's just that that concept hadn't been invented yet, so Jesus clearly isn't advocating for that. Jesus also isn't advocating blind loyalty to the Roman Empire. Jesus is asking people to choose where their loyalty is. This scripture is so important because it is a call for us to establish the reign of God on this earth.